Hello, everybody. My name is Lewis Lee, and this is Plan in Traffic, and I'd like to welcome everybody here. We have some people in the chat room and Facebook Live and YouTube Live. And we have a special guest, Bryan Dagel. How you doing, Bryan?
Doing good. Doing good. Glad to be here.
Good, good. So tell us where you're from and what you do.
I'm from Sturgeon Lake, Minnesota, up here in the Rust Belt. 26 years of classic car restoration. Well, I'm doing a Lincoln right now that is really rusty. So I'm kind of used to the rust here in Minnesota. You just got to deal with it, fix what you can fix,
Right, right. What year is that the Lincoln?
1955 Lincoln Capri. Everyone thinks of the 55 Lincoln, you think of the small ones, with the Mark, but this is the Capri, so it's the big full-size car. Hard to find parts for.
Yeah. I've been watching your videos the last couple of weeks. Can you tell everybody where to go watch your videos on this build?
Actually, on my Facebook page, just Bryan Dagel. I haven't been posting to my Dagels Restoration page, which I should be, but I haven't been. I just have enough time just to get in the morning and shoot them on my Bryan Dagel page, and that's where they're staying for now. Eventually, I'll get them switched over to the Dagels page. So,
yeah, I hear you. I have a couple of pages too, and it's hard to stay up, man, when you're working and family life.
Yeah.
So you've been doing body work for that long? 26 years, you said?
26 years. 1994, I built my own shop here in Sturgeon Lake. Lifelong dream. I always wanted to do body work. So we are actually our hometown Sturgeon Lake. We own the feed mill. We're a rural section. We used to sell feed to the dairy farmers.
Oh, yeah.
In the 80s, I see in the 80s that a lot of the farmers were being bought out by the government. They didn't want them to farm anymore. So I saw the writing on the wall, and I always wanted to do body work anyway. So I got into body work and I went from there. And 26 years now, I've been jamming away.
Nice, nice. Bryan, this is Ray from Motormouth Radio. He's our affiliate host, and he also has a Motormouth Radio syndicate. So you'll end up on his show as well.
Oh, great.
And I don't do body work, and I'm glad I don't. I'm restoring a guy's car. My car's in his body shop now, and I'm finishing up the restoration on his car, and I have to work in his body shop. And I left the other day, not thinking, got in my car, got home, and went to get out of my car and realized my black carpet and floor mats would they were just like tan because the body dust. I was like, damn, you got to change your shoes, you got to change your pants, you got to how do you guys do that, man? That's not that I'm a clean freak or anything, but
blow yourself off every night before you go in the house so the wife gets mad at you because you come in like the Pillsbury Doughboy with all the Bondo dust on you. So
I did blow myself off. Yeah, wow. Oof,
I work on a lot of my own stuff, and I'm learning body work, and every time I do something, I learn something new that would have saved me hours on the previous build. So I mean, it's a work. I mean,
yeah.
It's a learning deal. There's a learning curve. You just keep at it, and every car brings in something to learn. So you just got to keep an open mind because some of it comes in and it's like, what am I going to do here? There's no parts available, so you got to fab it. So there's a day of scratching your head, wrapping your head around the dimensions and how you're going to pull this off, and then just lean into it and get her done.
I do have a bunch of friends who are good body men, and I respect them highly because they can make anything fit anywhere. But funny story, when my car was in the shop years ago to have the first go around and some metal work done, parts came off and they went back on, and I got it home and I was finishing it up and putting everything on the right way. And I'm like, how come my freaking tools aren't working? They put metric bolts and everything. I'm like, duh, it's a modern body shop. That's all they have. Like, I had to go like, guys, American bolts. Come on, 9/16.
Yeah.
Half inch. So
no metric in my shop. If it's metric, it gets pitched. I'm all American. I'm all old school. I don't work on nothing newer than probably 74, 75. It's
that's
all
good.
Old stuff.
If you're doing restoration, that's good. Yeah, you can do that. That's excellent. But
so Bryan, go ahead, Ray.
I couldn't be mad at the guys because this is what they do every day and this is what they know. They didn't know an American car. So, you know, I couldn't be pissed at him. I was just kind of, now it just became a laughable moment. It's just a funny story, you know.
Yeah.
And if I need Metro hardware, I know where to go to grab it.
Right. So, Bryan, tell us about your radical drive-off build and drive.
An event I started in, we brainstormed it in 2015. I worked for Rat Rod Magazine for 6 years, and I took a Rat Rod, a 1935 Chevrolet sedan, down to SEMA, displayed the vehicle, gave out 5,000 magazines for the magazine itself. Rat Rod Magazine, 5,000 of them went out. At SEMA Ignite, hanging out with a bunch of the guys. We actually were hanging out with Sam Hard, Steve Darnell, Jesse Combs was there. A bunch of us were hanging out, and we just realized that the rat scene really wasn't being represented, which this is SEMA. This is all new stuff. So, you know, it's not really being represented well because there's a lot of used parts using a rat rod. So we decided that we'd have our own event so we could represent rat rods at SEMA. So in 2016 was our first event. We had 3 contestants. Sam Hard from England built a 37 Rolls Royce, unbelievable car, full aluminum car. Charlie Pacheco and Kyle Woolman from Welder Up. They all 3 had built, all showed up at SEMA. All of them were great builds. And it came time to do judging. Well, everyone was like, Sam's car blew everyone away. But it was so nice. It was a Rolls Royce. I couldn't call it a Radical. That was the birth of Radical.
Can I interrupt you for a second, Bryan? I just had this conversation today with my web guy, and he asked me to clarify some terms for the website. We do a decoder, which is kind of like our own dictionary, and rat rod was one of the terms. So I gave him my definition, but I'd like to hear what when someone asks you what's a rat rod, what do you say?
Well, me being from Minnesota, we have a lot of rusty stuff here. A rat rod to me is a car built out of leftover parts you have laying around the shop, or you can get real quick. Most of them have been overlooked because they're so far gone. They're still cool, but they're just so rusty. It takes so much time and money to put into them to get a quality part back out. A lot of these bodies are just served up to the rat rod scene, and they still are really cool, but it would take too much to make a full restoration out of, so they get donated to the rust scene and they go be rats.
Right. Good. That's kind of what I told them. And then the conversation, the conversation wove around. I said, now there's actually, from what I've seen, there's guys are taking cars that they're calling rat rods, but they're really custom built hot rods that they just patinaed and bastardized the whole thing. Because I always say, if you're not taking your life in your hands when you drive a rat rod, it's not a rat rod. You know, there's got to be some element of danger involved in driving that car one way or another. And some of these cars are $100,000 cars that they just made look rusty. And it's like, that doesn't fly.
They put a patina paint job on it and they go, it's a rat rod, you know? But underneath, it's like $100,000.
Troy built chassis or something. No.
You've seen a lot of that back. It reminds me back in the 90s when the biker scene came out and they bought the leathers and everyone was bikers. Well, that's same with the rad rod scene. Everybody just we can bail into this and do this, but the true blue rad rodders are building with used parts, used motors. They're putting the quality stuff together. It's a little scary here and there, but you know, some of the guys that I'm hanging with, like I said, this has been the birth of the Radical Rod. These guys are building some exceptional stuff. They still look like they're rats, or maybe a little rough around the edges, but the ingenuity, the quality, the safety, the new parts that they're using, is phenomenal. So we're putting out some really good builds in the Radical scene.
Yeah.
We're kind of the black sheep. We're taking the guys in that don't have a spot in the scene right now. They're coming out of the rat rod scene and they haven't hit the hot rod scene yet. So we're kind of those guys right in between, and we're taking them to SEMA and let them show what they can do.
Nice.
So
the only
Nelson Gill's been really pushing this whole rat rod phenomenon.
Yeah, he's a very good guy. He's
the only good thing I saw about it on the, because I'm involved in the biker community too. So the only good thing I saw come out of the biker resurgence, like you commented on, and the rat rod thing is all of the posers and wannabes lasted like half a season or one season and they were done because it wasn't comfortable. It wasn't cool. It was like too much work. Oh, I mean, I have to know how to fix this thing when it breaks. And they were out of there. They were buying new stuff, you know.
Yeah, I got back into BMWs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Leave it for the guys to know how to wrench it, right?
Yeah.
What's up, Brian? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Been really busy in the shop. Shop's jamming.
I see some of your posts, man. Looking good.
Plenty to do. A lot of fab work here. Parts being made for the 55 Lincoln, so got to make everything from hand. So it's been a long. It's a good build. You know, money is grease, so I'll fix it. You know,
what year Lincoln was that, Brian?
1955 Lincoln Capri.
55.
The big body. Yep.
Yeah.
It's the 55 all marked cars, you know. But no, this is the big one.
Yeah. That's cool.
See, this guy's a true craftsman, just like most of those guys from like the Radical Rods, man. These guys are, you know, bending. Matter of fact, I got my buddy Arco and Heidi on, and I don't know if y'all saw the post of me actually banging a door out.
I did, yeah. I saw that. Yeah.
You know, that door was done. A matter of fact, I got a door skin, but then I was talking to my buddy Arco, and he was like, "Yeah, Terry, you know," I showed him, and he was like, "It's not that bad. All you got to do is get a slap hammer, a couple of dolly, a couple of hours worth of work. You get that door looking like new." So I was like, once he said that, I was like,
yeah.
That's
right. So I start banging away, and it's coming out pretty well. And he says, "Now what you got to do is you got to get one of those. I forgot what they call it, where they weld like a little stud, and you have to pull a certain piece of
stud
gun. Yeah, it's called a stud gun. That's what it's called. And so I'm not putting that skin on. I'm going to keep that door, keep it all original GM."
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Oh, flat pellet and pick and just pull all the low spots up, you know.
That's what it is. He said he because I know a little body work because I've done quarter panels, floorboards, and trunk boards, and you know I've done all that stuff. But this is just a new level, man. I was just like, wow. So I'm gonna get a slap hammer, which is coming in the mail, file, you know, so I can do the whole. And you know what it is? It's like he says, you know, Bondo got us lazy, man. Because, I mean, instead of banging that thing out, Bondo, people just slather Bondo on it. And so I take my hat off to you guys, you know, like, you know, you, Brian, Arco, all these guys that actually sit there and, you know, like, bring the metal back to shape. I mean, these guys do it so well where you barely need Bondo. There's some high build primer, and that's it.
You know, that's how it got its bad reputation too, because guys would put a 1/4 inch of Bondo on a, you know, on a plastic on a low spot. The idea is it's just supposed to level it. You know,
I've seen thick.
Me
crazy.
too.
I mean,
I had a couple cars that I was taking it off in like slabs. Of like, geez, how the hell did it ever dry? You know. You know, when you take the panel off, you look at the back and you see all like the Play-Doh coming out of the back of the holes. Like, oh my God.
No, shouldn't see the worms anymore. That was back in the day. They always drilled holes so the Bondo would grip.
Right.
All the new stuff now. You drill the floor and you take a hammer to get off your concrete floor. That new Z grip, the ever out, that sticks to galvanized even. So it's some sticky stuff.
Yeah, cool stuff.
Like I said, I take my hat off to you, Brian, man. You guys are definitely masters at what you do.
Well, this is what the Radical Event is about. I've been, you know, with the Rat Rod magazine for 6 years, and I traveled all over the country, and I met a lot of really good builders, building out of single stall garages. A lot of them not even out on their carports, and they're doing quality work, but they're just known in their little sector. I'm trying to congregate these guys together and let them build, meet in Lincoln, Nebraska, prove their build, drive it in 1,500 miles to SEMA, and then display at SEMA after the fact. And when they show up at SEMA, they're proud. They're family now. There's 16 different teams just got together that we don't know who these guys are. We travel 4 days, 1,500 miles together, and it's a family when we get to Vegas. So
it's like a bike and build off almost.
Yep, it is in a way, but
a cruise too.
The build off, but it's the proving point. The road is the judge, the biggest judge. Because
you can have really nicely said. Woo!
Yeah.
Put it on the street, and that road will find a weak link.
Well, so you remember like the latest seasons of Bike and Build Off, that's what they had to do. They'd pair off and have to ride, you know, to somewhere where the event was, and then it was maybe a 400 or 500 mile ride. So it's great.
Go 4 days, and last year the boys got it. It was so cold. It was 20-degree mornings, frost on the windshields. A lot of you guys didn't show up at the New Zealand and Australia showed up with air conditioning. They were driving and scraping at the same time.
Yeah. Wow.
But they loved it. Something you'll never forget. They made some really, really good memories for these guys, and hope they enjoyed it. I know they enjoyed it.
Tough.
Hey, Brian, you remember the Belgian brothers?
Yep. Cobblestone.
Yeah.
Yep.
These guys,
big dude.
Oh my God, Wesley! Woo! That's the guy who's driving the fire engine. That was in a '55 fire engine, a Chevy fire engine, and these guys came from Belgium. They put that truck, that fire engine, on a boat to Maryland, and then drove it all the way to SEMA.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that fire engine, it was. I said to him, it was beautifully ugly. It was the ugliest, beautiful thing you ever want to see. It had bags on it. I think there was a Cummins diesel in it, and that's what he does. And like I said, how I got in that truck was just ridiculous. I was on my way, and he was like, "You need to buy this truck." So to see Wesley, he is huge, and like you said, you make friends. You make friends, and like I was telling Arco here, I see him out there. What's up, Arco, man? What's happening? The car community really isn't that big. It really isn't. And like you said, like it brings people together. And Louis Lee said it the other, on that podcast. I think a bunch of people said it doesn't matter what your social background is. It doesn't matter what your political beliefs. It doesn't matter when the cars come in. And I always say cars and music, when that comes into play, everything's out the window, and we all tight.
Yeah, cars together. And both are very enjoyable. I listen to music 24/7, 365 in the shop. I got to have music on.
Got it.
If we can get the rest of the world to think that way, it'd be a better place.
Sure would be.
So I have a question. I have a 77 Cadillac Coupe de Ville, and it has the plastic fender extenders.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on making that all metal and pushing the bumpers in? I want to get rid of the plastic and actually do metal.
Yep. I would pull the bumpers in too.
Yeah.
The bumpers, I would stick, nip the bumpers, pull the bumpers in, and make them metal. Heck yeah, they can be fabbed.
Yeah, I'm thinking what I was looking at. If I push them in 3 inches, it'll leave me 1 inch that I would have to fill in with metal. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think I'm going to do that because I'm going to push the front and the back bumpers in. Got a lot of room.
Yep. Just make patterns first, and go off a pattern. It's the easiest way to do it.
Yep. If I mess it up, then I'll sand it off and go buy the fillers.
No, you know what? You may not be able to find them. They the shop where my car is at, they did a bunch of restorations on some Eldorados for a guy. He had like 8 of them, and those things were not reproed for that. Well, I guess it depends on the model of car.
Well, they got them for it.
Okay,
they got them for the coupe.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm looking at it. I'm like, well, I'll put that stuff in because it's going to break again. So if I do metal and then push my bumpers in, it'll have a different look. It'll be all smooth, one big long fender.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Very nice.
So, Lou, you're talking about that plastic piece that kind of like, it's almost like a cover between the bumper and the body of the car.
No, this is on the fender. It's like the fender extender. It's in between the light and the fender.
It's a filler panel.
It's a filler panel, yeah, and it's usually It's usually it's some kind of plastic, and over the years they get dry and break.
They fall apart. They just crumble.
Yeah.
The Grand Nationals too. The Grand Nationals had those on the bumpers, and we had to change them last year on a car at the shop. Again, highly available for that car. But if the car's outside, that's it. It kills it. I mean, just
now. I think GM's thought on that was they had the springs inside the bumper too. So their thought was, so if somebody hits your bumper, it will hit that extender and break the extender and not bend up your fender.
Right.
So that was their stupid thought. But
oh, I know what you're talking about now. Okay, I know. Okay.
Thinking
Yeah, they had those 5-mile-an-hour bumpers, and you had like the front piece. I got you.
Yeah, so that's going to be my experiment. Hopefully, it come out. It should come out all right. If not, I'll just go buy the extenders and put them in.
Yeah, there's the eBay.
Always a way out. Yeah.
I found up for
Say again.
try fab them up. It'll be good practice for you. You know, something.
Yeah, I'm going to try it. I'm quick to try it because I figured, hey, it's broke already. I can't break it no more. So,
right,
I might get lucky and get it.
Yeah.
I remember those.
So, Brian, what have you been hearing about SEMA? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think we're going to have an event and have your rat rods go across, or?
I sure hope so. I see Pebble Beach was canceled today.
Yeah.
We're hoping that SEMA, being it was big dollar, somehow it would be held. You know, they would figure out some way to pull it off. But if you're canceling Pebble Beach, you're talking there's a multi-million-dollar event also. So I'm not as big as SEMA, but still, I'm hoping that they're gonna open up some of the stuff. Hopefully Vegas, once the heat hits, this Corona will be dead, and hopefully they can start. Vegas can open back up because I can't foresee Vegas being closed for more than 2 months.
Yeah.
The machine. That's a big machine, and to shut that thing down, I think it's the first time Vegas has really ever been shut down, where all of neon has been off. Wow, it's been on.
Yeah, it's a ghost town, man.
The strip lit up has got to be like very eerie.
Yeah, there's nobody on the streets.
You got to see New York City. It's ridiculous.
Oh.
You know, it's ridiculous. Me and my boys are going to go down there with our muscle cars and take pictures that you could never, ever get, like in front of the Iron Building. Yeah. There's no one there, you know?
Yeah.
Wow. Crazy.
Really good shots you're not supposed to be in.
No, we're not going. You know? We want to, but we ain't going.
Now, how soon, like, what day do you guys leave to drive across?
Let me get my cheat sheet out here. Timeline. Everyone should be in Lincoln, Nebraska, October 25th. Pre-party at Speedway Motors, October 26th, which I haven't set up yet. We normally would have, but with the Corona, I got to give them a call and make sure this is a done deal. They're pretty gracious there with the museum and everything. Last year they gave us pizza and they let us check out the museum for probably about 3 hours. We leave October 27th, day one. The first push is from Lincoln, Nebraska to Hugoton, Kansas. Day two, we roll all the way to Route 66 Casino. I think it's just other side of Santa Rosa, I do believe.
Is that on a Friday you leave?
No, it will be a Tuesday.
Tuesday, okay.
Because we show up in Las Vegas Friday the 30th. We will be running a lot of Route 66 this year from Flagstaff in. We're actually going to go through Kingman, and we're going to shoot up through Oatman because I know a lot of these guys have never driven on Route 66. And if you're going to take them on 66, you got to take them through Oatman. You crack the hill, the pass in California, you look out over the desert into California, it is nothing but switchbacks all the way down the side of the mountain. So you got to be paying attention. There's no guardrails or nothing. And it's original tar from back in the day. So it's a pretty cool cruise. So we're going to take them down through Oatman, stop in Oatman, feed the burros. We got to stop in Oatman and feed the burros. And then we'll head down into Mojave, go into Laughlin, up, heading towards Vegas. We'll stop at the dry lake beds right outside of Las Vegas for the finish line. We'll do photo ops, shoots, and all that stuff. And then we'll crack the hill at Railroad Pass and down to the Beast of the Belly to Sin City, Las Vegas.
Beautiful, man. That's the way to do it, man. First, your ride.
We dispersed for 3 days while everyone is trying to get their cars cleaned and stuff ready. And then we started doing check-in. Check-in for SEMA is a 3-day deal. Depends on if you're going inside, outside, you know, depends on when you got to be there. Everyone has their own check-in time, so follow accordingly and get your butts in the seat, clean up your stuff, and start. Giving love to your sponsors, telling everybody why you're here and who gave you the product, how great their product was to get you here. So,
man, I would love to do that, but the schedule wouldn't fit my schedule. My schedule's jacked up, but I'd love to drive across.
It's a monster. It's all of just shy of 3 weeks on the road, really, from when we leave Vegas back home. Just shy of 3 weeks.
Yeah,
but it's memory making. I mean, it's incredible. It's a once in a lifetime deal.
Ray, I think you should take a ride, man, with them.
It's funny because just yesterday was the 35th anniversary of when I took a road trip with my brother driving home a 55 Nomad, and we almost died in Ohio. So,
wow.
I'll send you the story.
Memorable?
What's that?
That's memorable, I guess.
It is. And it's kind of weird the way the universe works, because all of a sudden, people that I sent it to who hadn't heard the story before are telling me these stories about memories and making connections. And it's all, I think it was like something that just, like the universe was making me. I wrote the story almost 10 years ago, but, and close friends read it, that was about it. And I wanted to publish it. The problem is it's too big for a magazine, too small to be a book. So now that I read it again after not seeing it for many years, I realized I can easily break this into 2 stories because there's 2 big components. And I might, but now you guys are talking about memories and trips, and here we go. It's just rolling on. It's just there's something in the cosmos.
Ray, I'll put it in the magazine and send it over.
I will.
We'll put it into 2 segments.
Okay. Yeah,
I gotta hear the story. You know that, right? I gotta hear the story.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to read it in Alan's magazine.
Usually, if it is about music, computers, or cars, I won't read it. But I'm gonna read that story.
You know what? I'll tell you something, and it is a long story. But everybody who has read it has said the same thing. They say one of my hobbies is writing, and I'm not that I'm good at it. I guess I am good at it, but it's not like I'm really great at it. People say they feel like they're in the car with you. They feel like I felt like I was with you. And when you describe this, I felt it. It's just descriptive writing, just kind of, and it really just came out of what really happened, and why I want to strangle this guy, and they're like, I was right with you, man. I wanted to.
But you know what? That's a skill, man. If you can write on paper and capture the moment on paper, that's a skill. I have a friend that's like that. He can express himself very well to the point where he'll piss you off. And it's a talent.
I'll tell you the truth. Years ago, I was a friend of mine who writes for a local newspaper here, and he's an appraiser. He asked me if I would write under him as an editor for under Hemmings magazine. They had a digital online magazine that they put out, and I said, yeah, I would, and I did. I said, what do you want me to write about? He says, well, you got the radio show, so topics from there, or service stuff, or repair or restoration, because that's what you're good at. Okay, that's a no-brainer, and I did. And I found that sometimes you got to top break bleeding. All right, you know what? You got to do stuff like that to okay, this is going to be kind of mundane, but I can spice it up. And you just start typing, and it's flowing, and all of a sudden you find, I don't care what you're writing, if it's a birthday card or an article, at some point, you're going for the next word, and your fingers just don't go anywhere. And you look at the screen, and you sit there and you stare at it, and you're like, I don't know what. I'm lost. You just hit this freaking wall, And that's when you got to walk away, and you come back, and there's techniques. But with these stories that I wrote a few of them. They were from the heart, and they were memories in my head. It was like there was this connection from my brain through my arms and fingers to the keyboards. I couldn't type fast enough. I couldn't get the words out fast enough because it was raw emotion. And that's the best way to write. I mean, I wish everything I wrote was like that, but it wasn't. When you get paid for it, you gotta write what they want, So you gotta make
when I write stuff, when I write stuff, I can't spell, so I do it all voice dictation.
Okay.
So I'm actually talking it, you know what I mean, and feeling it. So it works out pretty good for me.
Okay. That's good. Yep. Yeah, you got to find what works.
Yeah, punctuation's out the window, man. I got one big run-on sentence, and I come back and I clean it up.
Well, I mean, you know me. I punctuate my texts. You know, it's like my daughter said it to me one time. Dad, you're annoying. You use punctuation in your texts. I'm like, sorry.
Hey Terry, here's my. Wait a minute.
Yeah, I saw it before it flashed out. Yeah.
You have more than 24 upcoming appointments.
All right, there it is.
Yeah.
See how that breaks out?
Yeah.
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 That's what I was talking about. I thought that was like that Euro plastic that stuff that they used to put on the late second gen Camaros, like 78 to 81 Camaro, you know, that bumper, that urethane, whatever it's called.
It is kind of like that.
Yeah. Yep. Terrible stuff. Whoever thought of that needs to be shot.
I would fill that in before. You know what? I would fill that in because if you push the bumper in all the way to the quarter panel or the front, well, it'd be the front, it might look like something's missing. I would try to fill that in, try to recreate that metal, and have the bumper pushed in a little with that.
Well, I can only go in 3 inches on the bumper because that's all the room I have. So right. I'll have probably an inch and a half of metal work.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
I want people to look at it and be like, man, that's nice. And I want them to look at it like something's different, but I can't put my finger on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're gonna do it as soon as you tuck that bumper in. As soon as you cut the ends and tuck it in, they're gonna say that regardless because you know those bumpers stuck out, man.
Yeah.
You know. So I think if you tuck those bumpers in, they're gonna say that because it's not gonna look normal. It's gonna look like something's missing, something's different here, but it looks good.
You know, I was watching Iron Restoration last week. It was an older one, and they had a 66 or 67 Chevelle, and the car's quarter panel extensions. You know, like my Pontiac does. A lot of the GMs had that at the time, and you know, you can make them fit nicer than the factory did because the factory didn't care. But yeah, he was looking at him and said, "You know what? This seam is killing me." He goes, "I don't like this seam." Yep. And you know, they were talking about like letting it in or filling it, but what he did is he filled it with he just made metal and just filled it in. Yeah. And I said, you know, it looked great because it made the quarter panel of the extension one piece to the taillight. Now, I don't know about the Chevelle. I know with my Pontiac, you can't change the lens unless you take the quarter panel extension off. So he may have just screwed the guy forever if he has to change his lens.
Well, when you think about it, I have a 67. I have a 67.
That's right, you do.
Think about that. You got you got to take that piece off to change the lens.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you can do it in the back, but you have to take the pot metal grill off, which you have to have it out of the car.
I bet you I know what he did. What he probably did was he probably cut the inside of the end of the quarter panel where it mounted. You know what I'm saying? So you have access to it.
You know, they showed the beginning of what he was doing, and the next thing you know, it was painted. So, and that's the problem we have, even with the good shows like theirs. You really don't get to see the intricacy of what they did.
Yeah, because like you said, that there's 4 pieces that hold that extension, 4 bolts, 4 or 5 that hold that extension to the quarter panel. So actually no, it's the back of the car actually. It's because the quarter panel kind of goes over it, and it's like a back panel that fits. I forget what it's called, but it's 4 pieces that go in there, 4 bolts. So I bet you they probably cut that out and then weld it somehow, because you got to have a way to take that if you have to change the bulb.
Well, the bulb you can do from inside the trunk. Like I said, it's if you have to change that grill or the lens.
Or the lens.
Or the extension if it ever got
the bulb you can take it. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So I don't know.
The only problem with that is that metal, because one is aluminum and one is metal.
It's pot metal.
It's pot metal, exactly. Yeah. So
I can show you one. I got one right in the room next to me.
We know you do.
I know you do. But that's the problem, because the heating and cooling of that, so that's going to mess with eventually I would imagine that's going to crack.
I don't know.
Brian, every show we come across something and Ray has it there in his basement.
Yeah.
So when he says he has it, it's there.
I don't believe he has one.
Uh-oh,
Ray.
Oh, yeah, there he goes.
We know he has it. we can talk about anything. We can talk about toothpicks, and he'll have a box there.
They'll just reach over and pull one out. This is too
So,
funny.
Brian, what kind of vehicle do you have?
Right now, driving one, nothing. I've sold everything I've had. I've been buried. Here it comes with one in a box, even.
These are the lights.
Ray is a auto parts store.
I thought he was gonna bring one like all dirty and nasty out the garage or something.
Brand new.
Oh my God.
These are the top metal extensions for my GTO, for my Pontiac.
Oh, you
Nice.
guys 64? No.
5. These
They're
wrap around the corner of the car
Right.
in the back. Yeah.
That's
So
nice.
these are those. But that's it. And the quarter panel extension, I have those outside. But these go into that.
Yeah. See Ray broadcasting from the garage, like what's called.
Yeah. What's in your basement? We're gonna do a show. What's in your basement?
Too much stuff.
Oh man.
Spare drum set out of the basement just yesterday. I took it out and I put it because now my car is in the shop, so I put the other drum set in the garage so I could bang on that one out there. So and now I got all this room over here. I'm like, wow, look at that.
More parts.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, so Brian, I'm sorry we interrupted you. What was
No problem.
your vehicle?
None running and driving at the moment. I got a whole row of them, but nothing at the moment driving. I got a 70 Buick GS 455 Air Ram car.
Nice.
Woo!
That 69 Camaro. That was actually a 6-cylinder, 3-speed on the floor, Daytona yellow, black vinyl top. Which, if you run the numbers on it, there's only like 600 of them made. Which 66 Comet 202 post car, which is going to be a gasser. Jerry Rosenkrantz, one of my friends that's in the staff actually has a 66 427 side oiler out of a Shelby that we'll be putting together, making a gasser out of. Eventually, going to see more of that. Do a Holmes Moody replica or something like that on that.
Nice.
I got a 70 GMC 3-door out of Lake Havasu. Was the soccer coach's ball Suburban, and he hauled the balls back and forth from the field to the school. Otherwise, it's never been on the road.
Wow.
Must be nice to have money like that.
Thanks.
Well, these are all bought back in the day. Sitting on a 46 Buick.
A torpedo back?
Yep, big torpedo.
Nice.
I got a 23 Studebaker, a Phaeton, the dual cowl. I mean, I got a lot of stuff. It's just that I can never get my stuff done fast enough. A customer's car can come in 6 to 8 months on a full done. Mine, you're looking at 3-4 years. I have a project that's probably going on 5 years now.
That's what they say. Shoemakers always wear raggedy shoes.
Yeah.
The only way I'm getting my car painted was by working on the guy who owns the body shop, by working on his car, and we just bartered and we just traded. I'm like, otherwise it wouldn't have happened.
A lot.
Yeah.
My golden sleeper car that we'll get eventually started here is a prototype. A friend of mine, Ronnie Hammett, has the prototype replica in his car of the XP 300. You guys ever seen that? That's when GM Harley Earl got into a building match with designers. They made 2 Olds, 2 Buicks, and 2 Pontiacs. We are making the 55 Chevy that was made in clay. It was never put into steel.
Wow.
This car is a 55 Chevy, but it looks just like a 56 T-Bird.
Wow.
This is how much Ford and Chevy spied on each other back in the day. This was a prototype car that was made in clay, and they never put it into production.
Wow.
So eventually this car will get finished, and we will bring it to SEMA. And it'll be a showstopper because when you walk by a 55 Chevy, normally everybody stops anyways, but it looks just like a 56 T-Bird 2-door. The front is extended, short doors. It's The first time I saw it, I sat a chair down and I sat and looked at the car for over an hour. I've done 3 56 T-Bird #1 restorations. And when I saw this 55 Chevy, it is proportioned dead on to the Ford T-Bird, except it's a 55 Chevrolet. Mind-boggling.
I can't.
Now, where'd you come across?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rick.
A friend of mine building his car. He started building this car in 1991, and he's finally to the hood. I mean, it's been a long process. He was deer hunting in 1991 in Michigan and was at a bar. He was an electrician. He was at a bar having a burger. And I sat down next to him and started talking cars, and to find out that this guy worked for GM. And Ronnie, back in the day, remember seeing the XP300 at the World's Fair somewhere. And they started talking about the car was in clay and it was never put into steel. And Ronnie got the idea to build this car. So he talked to the guy. The guy worked at GM. He says, I can't give you pictures of the car, but I give you measurements. So he went in and measured up the Oldsmobile XP300 and gave Ronnie the measurements of this. And he's been building the car that was put into clay and was never made in steel. Wow. So pretty epic build. But he's been on since 1991, and he's finally just finishing it up now. And I told him I would paint the car for free just to get my hands on this car. So
now
he's
building
XP300.
I'm sorry.
The XP300. They made the 2 Buicks, the 2 Pontiacs, and 2 Oldsmobiles. I do believe, I talked to Gene Winfield, and he says, I know that car. The gold Oldsmobile is in Colorado Springs. He knew the guy's name even. I was just like, wow. Gene, he knows just about everybody. And he was really interested in seeing this car also because this is one that was never made. Because Chevrolet was on the low end of the GM production. It was, Buick, Olds, they were all, Pontiac was above that. Mm-hmm. And the Chevrolet was never made because it was the poor man's car. So,
yeah.
Very cool. That car.
Buick right here.
It's Buick is gorgeous.
Cool. Yep. So
I
eventually
see the gold Buick.
Bonnie will keep burning the fire in his shop and keep everything going, and he'll hopefully get it done this summer, and then we will take it from there. I'll paint it myself, and then he said if I painted the car, we could take it to SEMA. So eventually, hopefully, we'll end up at SEMA because it'll be a world. The world will stop revolving when this car comes out. It's like one of something ever made, Well, you're a big Tri-5 fan, Terry. Think about it. You walk up to a Chevrolet that looks like a Ford T-Bird, you're going to scratch your head and go, and then you're going to do the research and look at the XP300 and go.
See the XP300, I'm going to be like, I want they had an X400 that looked like a 56 Chevy. See if Ford did one.
Well, actually, the doors off of this 55 are 56 4-door hardtop doors.
Oh.
The original doors. Actually, in the GM doors, there are dimples on the inside of the doors because to make this car, you have to section it 6 inches. So there's actually dimples on the inside of the door. GM was thinking about making this car, but they scrapped it last minute and didn't make this car. It looked too much like a Ford, I'm sure, because it looks like a Ford.
Yeah. Now, is it convertible?
So, yep.
Yeah, the one
he was thinking about a Carson top for it and putting the convertible bows so it looks like a convertible, but there is no room for the convertible top. I mean, the car's been sectioned and shortened, and it looks like a 56 T-Bird. I mean, it's incredible, but it's a Chevrolet.
The Buick looks like a Buick.
Yep.
It's got that Buick front end.
If you look at the Oldsmobile XP300, it looks like a 55, 56 T-Bird. It's proportioned the same, shortened up on front. It's pretty cool. So to work on something that never has been built, but we're building it. Or Ron building it. I'm just going to paint it. So,
what drivetrain will it have?
He's going to run the original 265. It'll be just like it would have been in 1965 or 1955.
Okay.
Power guide tranny, I'm pretty sure.
That'd be built on a Corvette chassis, I would imagine. No, considering the size.
They They actually shortened up the original 55 convertible frame to make that work.
Okay.
I think they sliced 11 inches out of the frame to shorten it up.
Okay. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's 115 inches wheelbase. I don't remember what the width is. Yeah, that's a short, stubby car. That'd be cool. Neat.
Yep.
That's something you don't hear every day.
There you go.
Because it is what it is, and we don't want it up in public yet. So
yeah.
But
yeah, that's
pretty cool. That should put up, but it was.
No, is that the one that's in clay?
No, the 55 Chevrolet was made in clay, was never put into steel. You got to realize the XP300, they only made 6. 2 Olds, 2 Pontiacs, 2 Buicks. The Chevrolet was put into clay and never put in steel. So it's kind of cool. The history behind it, the digging that we've done to see the provenance, to see if this is real legit. The story is, I mean, it could have, should have, would have, but it never was. So
yeah, came this close.
That close, yeah.
Yeah, missed it by this much.
You know,
Eventually,
I'm still upset with GM. You know,
why? Because they still don't make 56 Chevys.
Well, I can understand that, but I mean, some of the stuff. If I could just talk to one of the guys, man. I mean, I just gotta ask him, how come? You know, I like that Monte Carlo SS that came back out in the '80s.
Yeah.
They couldn't run a couple of them down the Tuneport line, the IROC line.
Right.
Tuneport with a 6-speed or 5-speed even back in the day.
I went to buy one new, and when I was an idiot. I thought that I could get it with a 350 and a 5-speed and a posi rear. And when they told me no, I was like, it was a woman. I'm like, and I wanted to say is there a guy here who knows how to sell a car? Because that's who I want to talk to. And she was like the manager, you know. And then she says, no, there's that stuff's in the past. I'm like, well, you know what? See ya. I'll keep the 73 Monty I have and put a big block in it. That's exactly
what I did.
So
disappointment, man.
Yeah.
And you couldn't get an IROC with a stick.
No. The Camaro, Joe.
Regular V28 with a 305.
Joe has an 82 pace car Camaro with the high output 305 and a 5-speed.
Is that the Crossfire?
No, it's not. No, and that's original. He bought the car new, so that one you did get a stick in.
Disappointment.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, when they stopped letting you build your own cars, it went bad.
Yeah.
Well, everyone wants to go in there and fill out the build sheet and check off the boxes. I mean, that's the fun part about getting a car, especially a muscle car, is to go in and order it yourself. I mean, I had a 70 Il Camino that was an ordered car. Actually, the banker's kid went in and ordered the car. 350 HO, 4-speed posi traction, and a 78 El Camino. I put sunroof in it. Build sheet, when we put a sunroof in it, it was an ordered car. He went in and checked the boxes out. So I don't know when, that was in 78. I don't know when they made it so you couldn't go in and they were just lot run cars and you just got what they had, you know.
Probably mid 80s.
You couldn't order that.
Early 80s, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, because my mom bought a 79 Grand Prix and she ordered everything.
I like that car.
Yeah, she ordered everything, checked the boxes. Yep.
Yeah.
I still think the Oldsmobile, the 442 back in '83 with the 3 lightning shifters.
Rods.
I love that car, man. And again, 5. I'm like,
right. Well, those were the dark days, man. Those were the dark ages for GM, the 80s.
Yeah,
and of course, a whopping 230 horsepower.
That was terrible. The 80s were terrible.
Oh, my brother-in-law bought a brand new Trans Am in '79, which is now one of that one is like at the top of the heap for everybody's collecting those cars. But he wanted an automatic, and he wanted to go with the WS6 suspension and the 4-wheel disc brakes. So he ordered it that way. They told him his car came in, and when he went down to get it, it didn't have disc brakes in the rear. And he said, "Well, I really want the disc brakes." And they said, they gave him some glad-handed thing and said, "Well, you could wait till it comes in, but one came in your color, everything else is the same." And he would have had to wait like 4 or 6 weeks, and he was hot for the car. So he said, "All right, I'll just take it." And then, he shows it to me, and I knew right away. It really doesn't matter to him, but the one he got has the 403 in it. It's the Olds motor, not the Pontiac engine. And I said to him later on, I said, you should have waited to get the one with the disc brakes and the Pontiac 400. And whatever.
Yep.
That was another disappointment.
Yep. Now you can order a car, but you got to spend $80,000.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
The Hellcat, or what is it? The big one?
What?
The Demon.
Demon.
Yeah. Yeah, you can order an extra seat, stuff like that, but you're at $80,000.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it really is.
These cars are going out of, but people are buying them. What recession? People are buying them.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, they want cubic power, man. They will burn rubber on tap. It seems like, and have efficiency in the fuel mileage. So pull mid-20s on the fuel, and you're rolling 40 mile an hour. You can still roast them.
Yep.
But ironically, you got guys who were like in their 60s and 70s who have the money and never drove a car that had more than like 250 horsepower. And now they think that they're Don Garlits, and because I see more wrecked ones, see them all over the place.
Yeah.
Well, you see what it is when they say you got to have you got to break the car in for 5,000 miles or whatever. No, that's for you to get used to it. You don't have to break the cars in. That's for you that's for the car to break you in.
Right.
Yeah.
Keep the traction control on.
Exactly. But these people are like, let me just hold this button down for about 7 seconds. Traction control all deleted.
Listen, let me tell you a story. My buddy up in Canada, Vuk, he had an all-wheel drive Porsche, all hopped up, 1,000 horse. He had it juiced, and he went to the bar drinking. And his mom told him, "Don't drive your car because you're going to drink." Oh, mom, that mom thing. So he goes and he's out in front of the bar and he wants to show off in front of his buddies. He turns off the traction control. He lights him up, goes down the street. A cop's coming by him, right? So he said he took off. He said, I forgot I didn't have my traction control on. He hits a bend, spins out, hits 5 cars, totals the Porsche. He hit every end of the Porsche, right?
Yeah.
So now he's facing the way he was coming. So he's going back, and now the cops coming by him, and they're looking at him like, and he's just driving like nothing happened, right? So they pulled him over, and they said, "What happened to your car?" He goes, "Oh no, it's been like this for months."
Yeah.
But up in Canada, they don't mess around, man. He said they was taking his license and big money.
No. It was like my buddy. I had my 2011 SS. I drove the car, and I was just like, I talked to one of my friends. I was like, it just doesn't seem to be like how, whatever. He goes, no, what you got to do, Terry, hold the traction control button for about 7 seconds. All the lights will go off. Then go. But go to a parking lot. And I was like, well, let me take this car to a parking lot and check this out. And that's where I was like, okay, you got to get used to the car. The car's something different. Even with my Chevelle, the power comes on different with that car, and you're used to it than it is with that Camaro. That Camaro, it's just like, it's ridiculous. Yeah. And, so I strongly urge people, get used to your cars, man. Like you said, like that 5,000 miles, that's for you to get used to the car, not for the car to break in. No.
Right.
Yep. Exactly.
It's like the guy going from the 450 Honda to the Gixxer, or or the Ninja. Like, oh, that's going to be a good idea. Yeah.
Hey, the Gixxer is no joke.
Even for the guys like us who know how to ride them, it's no joke.
Yeah. One of my buddies had one. I had a Gixxer, but he had the Hayabusa. My Gixxer was pretty juiced up, man, and I'm telling you, Hayabusa would walk me down. Woo. Yeah. No joke.
What was it, like 1350 cc's or something like that?
Yeah.
Hayabusa?
Well, the new ones are no, I think they're 13. Yeah, but the new Ninja is 14. It's a beast. That new Ninja is a killer.
Why do you need that, man? Oh, man.
Yeah, why do you need?
Why do you need a car?
Yeah. because we like it to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, but still, man, 1,400 cc's. And what's the top speed? Probably like, I know the old Hayabusa was like 203.
Yeah, it's up to 220 probably.
And I know people who put like nitrous shots on it 3/4 of the way down.
Yeah.
Well, that new Ninja came out, I think, 2 years ago, and they shut down, I think, the Golden Gate Bridge. Did you see that video?
No.
Yeah.
Where he did like 200 and some miles an hour on that bridge,
Wow.
like real fast. Like he got up there really quick.
Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy.
You got to have a set, man, because there's no way. I get up to that speed and wouldn't know. I was like, and forget how to brake.
It gets scary, man. When you go over 100 miles an hour, it gets quiet and it gets scary.
I've done a buck 45, and literally tunnel vision. It's just you can only see like out of your helmet, and yeah, it's a whole
gets
other world.
You're thinking like, why is it so quiet?
You know,
Yep.
you're there. You know.
Yep. When you start seeing exits pass, you're like, wait a minute, I was supposed to get off there.
Gotta stay off 2 wheels.
So that's why I got a cruiser, so I wouldn't be acting up.
Right.
I used to ride sports bikes all the time,
Mhm.
but if I can find a turbo, I'm putting it on there as soon as the wife
there
ain't
you
looking.
There you go.
As soon as she goes in the kitchen, I'm putting it on.
Oh,
Yeah.
She'll know though, because she's a motorhead too. She'll be like, "What's that whistling?"
Where's my hairdryer?
Yeah.
Look at John. Look at Jesse John. 214 in 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Show off.
At least you're in a box with a cage with wheels and protective gear too. You know, you're strapped in. You know, so there's something to be said for that. You know.
Get a cage, that's for sure. Get
Yeah.
out there on that bike. Oh no.
Yeah.
Body don't take that.
That's what leather's for.
Yeah, it's pride hitting at 140 miles and it bakes you inside them leather.
I remember the first time I went out to Bridgehampton out here on the island. I was like, I don't know, 13, 14, and used to be able to go and stand in the infield. It was a road race track for motorcycles. And they did cars. You know, Paul Newman used to race out there a lot, IMSA and all that stuff. And it was bike day. So after the heat, we're in the pits talking to the guy, and everybody's wearing, you know, the one-piece leathers, and everybody weighed about 120 pounds. You know, these guys were all like nothing. And I asked the guy, like, man, how can you wear those leathers so tight, like in this summer heat? And he said, brother, he goes, I'm not wearing it for the comfort. He goes, it's when I fall off. He goes, it's not if. He goes, when I come off this thing, he goes, you know, we know how to slide, we know how to tuck. He goes, but in that event that bones break, he says the leathers are so tight, it keeps everything lined up in place. So when they get me on the table, they can cut them open and everything stays like in line. They don't have to go looking for a femur over here or a hip over there.
Yeah.
And it was for reconstruction. I was like, holy shit, I never thought of that, man. Wow.
That's terrible to think that way, but hey.
Yeah, but this was coming right from the horse's mouth. I said, okay, I got you.
Yeah. One of my buddies went down and he fell and his hands hit the ground and his face hit the ground. So when he got up, his whole helmet was scratched all across his face, down his chest, and down his hands. If he didn't have his leather and helmet on, man, it would have been his face. It would have been his hands.
I'll tell you something. I get on the bandwagon on the radio show every spring because I've been riding for 40 years. And you know, two of my pet peeves are gloves and footwear. You know, you got to wear good shoes and you got to wear gloves even in the summer. And people say, "Well, the gloves are so hot." I'm like, "Yeah, well, if you come off that bike, what's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to turn into Superman. You're going to do this. You're going to put your hands out because that's what happens when you fall. You put your hands out." I said, now those nice little fleshy hands that are soft are going to be ground off on that asphalt. You ain't going to use your hands. You ain't going to be doing anything with your hands for months. If you're okay enough to even,
if you're lucky,
if you're lucky.
Yeah, I said you got to wear gloves. You know, especially and like, you know, I got them with Kevlar or anything. You know, you got to wear something. You know.
Yeah, I'm moving towards a full face. I wear a half helmet now, but
Me too.
I think I'm moving towards a full face because man, when he showed me his helmet and it was all scratched, all this was scratched. I was like, oh my god.
I bought a flip up years ago. So, it'll be a full face. You can put it down. I really only got that, for the winter.
Mm-hmm.
When you wear an open helmet for so long, it's hard to go the other way. And
Yeah.
I did wear a full face early in my days. That was the first helmet I had. But yeah, I don't know. It's nice with the flip up because now you got a choice.
Yeah. Yeah, I got one of those too. Yeah, I'm moving towards that all the time though, to be honest.
The flip up only works best if you have a windshield on your bike, because otherwise the air gets up under that top piece and pulls your head.
Well, listen,
the windshield.
the other day, yeah, it will. Listen, the other day I was riding and I had my half helmet on, and man, the wind got up under there and it almost snapped me off the bike. I was like, whoa!
You're supposed to make it tight. It's supposed to be snug. You're not supposed to be able to take it off your head.
I know, man. It almost snatched me off the bike.
Right.
Old Peaches is about to be by herself.
Yeah.
Oh, well, gentlemen, I have to get going. It was a pleasure. Brian, it's a pleasure.
Yes.
Lewis, Radio Ray,
Yes.
everyone in the house. Arco's in the house. Shazzy John.
Right,
I see me and Papa Squirrel up in the house. Jim LaSala. Listen, everyone be easy and be safe.
Yes,
That's
sir.
all I got to do.
All right, thanks for coming on, bro.
Story.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm gonna let Chassis John in, and Brian, I'm gonna jump off because I had an early start tomorrow. And man, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing with us. And once you come on Planet Traffic, your family, so you can come on anytime. Anything you have to announce or show, feel free to come on, man. Yep, just let me know.
Well, once we figure out what this Corona thing's going on, we're going to do an announcement here. We're going to try to do a COVID-friendly event. If SEMA is canceled, we're going to try to make the event go forward, but depends on what the rules are nationwide. We'll have to see.
Yeah, that'd be cool if you could still go out there. That'd be a nice cruise.
Yep. Try to do something.
Hey, John.
What's up?
Okay, guys, I'm going to jump off, but you guys are welcome to stay on, do the after party thing. I appreciate you guys.
Seeing you.
Talk to you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Take care.
Yeah.
What's up, boys?
Johnny, what's going on?
Entertainment nice.
I got back late. I had to go do an emergency. Had a good customer just sprung a leak.
How do you handle that?
Well, typically it's when somebody calls me up and they, look under the tank and they got some water coming out. It's usually a bulkhead nut.
Okay.
After a while, the gaskets kind of shrink.
Yeah.
So, but this is a big tank, 600 gallons, and
Wow.
it's a doctor friend of mine. He called me up. He's like, "Hey," he goes, "the convoluted tubing kind of looks like the pool vacuum hose." He goes, "It's wet." So I'm thinking, okay, yeah, bulkhead fitting, no problem. So I go over there. He's in Tampa, and I get underneath, and I'm ready to tighten the bulkheads. Now this is a big tank. I got to climb under this. It's a triangular shaped tank.
That's fun.
So I climb into this cabinetry, and I go take a look, and it's not wet there at all. But the hose is dripping, and I'm like, oh boy. Yeah. And then I see out of the corner of my eye, there's like this pinhole in another fitting. There's a separate, what they call a closed loop pump that just takes water from the tank and then blows it in at high pressure to keep a current going.
Yeah.
And the company that installed the tank, when they built the house, they didn't put any valves under the tank.
Right.
So I'm like, oh my God, now what do I do? So luckily I had a fitting that was the same diameter, 1-inch hose end. And then I had a plug to plug it off, but I used 2 vice grips and squished the hose.
Yeah.
Because I had to take this hose off of this auxiliary pump. So
we were talking with Brian a while ago about the hose clamp pliers, and you said, I got to get a pair of those.
Yeah, I know. Luckily, I had kind of like needle nose vice grips.
Yeah.
And I crushed the hose in 2 spots, and that stopped the water from going backwards. and I was able to pull it off the hose end and then stick this other thing in it. I could have fixed it if I had a 90.
Yeah.
All I had was straights, and right. it's a vinyl hose, a flexible hose, and there's not enough hose to do this.
Right.
So I was like, ay. But I got it done.
Good. So just to back up, Brian, this is Chassis John from Florida and Matco Man Brian from Delaware.
Maryland.
Hey.
Maryland. I'm sorry. I always think that, yeah.
Maryland.
Yeah, Maryland.
Crabland.
Right.
You got it.
Yeah. Awesome.
It's almost time to get ready. Nice meeting you.
Yeah.
How much on your fabrication?
I'm gonna go grab my bite to eat here.
Okay.
Because I know it was probably done a half an hour ago, but you had supper yet tonight, so
yeah.
Chatting with you guys.
Definitely.
If I have another announcement, I'll get a hold of Lewis and we'll be doing this again.
Sounds
interesting. Good. Very good.
Sounds awesome.
Okay, you guys have a good night. Take care.
All right, Brian. Pleasure.
Bye.
All righty.
What's new? I didn't get to read that story of yours yet.
That's what we were talking about earlier. Yeah,
I got to read that. Oh, you know what I noticed? The stuff that you send me.
Yeah.
If I sit at my desktop, can't open it because they're Apple.
No, mine aren't Apple. I'm a PC guy.
Oh, I don't know. They come in. They'll open on my Apple iPhone. They will not open on my regular computer.
I am straight up PC. Windows.
Isn't that weird?
I'm Windows 10. No Apple at all. My phone is a Samsung. Yeah, I'm Android.
I don't get it.
Ray, it reminded me of two-lane blacktop.
Really? Okay.
That's what I read it, and I had this image of we're going to make a movie, and it's going to look like, 1973, and it's like two-lane blacktop. It was,
that's
and
cool.
You should have known better. Saying we're on our way home. We only have 60 miles. I mean, come on, man. Or whatever it was.
Still
600
from Toledo, Ohio. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. And like I said in the story, I don't want to give away the punchline, but we send.
I'm just looking at it now. Now it's you know what it is? When I open it up on my phone, I can't read it. That's what it is.
Makes sense.
It's a Word document.
It's a Word document. Yeah, it's just a straight Word document.
I never put the Word document app into my phone. Okay. That's the
probably
reason.
A good idea, just for general purposes. But
yeah.
We heard a little noise whenever we stopped for gas and we started up again. There was a little noise, a squeaky noise, and both of us kind of had our ideas of what it was, and we were both right, but neither one would say anything to the other one because if you don't say anything, it doesn't exist. As soon as you clear the driveway and hit like 10 miles an hour, it would go away. So it was like, okay, the noise is gone. Well, it came back to bite us in the ass. And because every road trip has some sadness to it. So, but hey, you know what? I was just telling my wife, we were talking about it at dinner yesterday, and I said there was a part of the story where we did lose control of this car. We had to be towed, and it was one of those moments where I said to myself, I can remember it like, this is where my life should pass in front of my eyes. This is where I should be seeing. And I said, that's bullshit, man. They were freaking lying to me. Your life doesn't pass in front of your eyes because, I'm going to die in about 4 seconds. And I'm just thinking about, I'm going to die in 4 seconds. It's like, that sucks. And then, I didn't die. So
there was, I had when I was working at the dealership, this guy came in and he had, I don't know what year it was, but it was the first year on the Chevrolet. Maybe it was Blazer that had the headlights side by side. Was that like?
That was later. That was like in the 80s.
No, not. I mean, two side by. It was an older truck. It was like a '56 Suburban.
No, Blazers were through the '70s, and they had.
Well, I mean, it was a truck. I don't know what type of. I can't remember. It was a Chevrolet.
Okay, all right. So it was a Chevrolet.
But it was like a '63. I think it was a '63 because it had the two headlights side by side.
Yeah, the '60s had four lights. Yeah, '50s had single. Right, like the cars.
Well, this guy goes, look, I got to get rid of this truck. It runs. and you can have everything with it. So I go out, and this is like downtown. This is like down in DC in the bad neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? This is kind of sketchy, you know?
Where the politicians live.
Yeah, well, this was real sketchy. And he had all
The
this
politicians.
big block. He had all this big block Chevy stuff in the back, and you know, just a tunnel ramp set up. I mean, he had all this stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I can take this.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, well, it had the 4 headlights across. It was like, but I can't remember what year it was. But so I start this thing up, and it was 3-speed on the column.
Yeah.
And it had
gotta be later than that, John. Yeah. Okay.
But we're going to, he gets the thing started up, and I'm driving down the road. And of course, you know, like one headlight falls out while you're driving down, you know? And I'm like, because the thing's shaking. And I was like you said, I said, man, this drive shaft is, I mean, this U-joint's not good, you know?
Yeah.
Of course, you don't want to say it out loud.
No,
you know?
you never do.
So I'm going down the road, and of course, this drive shaft comes up through the floor. And it just like explodes, you know, and I'm like ducking, and the truck's all over the place. I go down this hill, over this medium, and landed in this parking lot. Got out, slammed the door, and said, F it. And I walked home.
Yeah.
I left that truck sitting there.
Yeah, you got to invest it. Walk away.
I was like, F that. Almost that. That's what I thought about when you guys lost the wheel. You know, you're just like sitting out in the middle of nowhere. You're just like, screw it. Just walk away from it, you know?
Yeah, the problem was we couldn't walk home 600 miles. Like,
I know.
Yeah, in your case, it's easy. Like, screw you, Death Machine. I'm out of here. But,
that was all. And actually, the funny part is, you fast forward 25 years, that where that happened is in my route.
Oh, is it? Wow.
Yeah. So the gas station that I rolled down the hill and crashed into the building with, it's one of my customers, you know. And I was like, man, I've been here before. This is like,
that'd be cool if you look out his back door and you saw like a rusted hulk of a truck out there.
I know. I said Jeff was younger. His dad owned it before, and then, you know, Jeff took over. And I said, Jeff, you might not have been around when that happened, but I left the vehicle here.
Yeah.
I said this motherfucker blew up.
Yeah.
And he says, I don't know. That was before my time, but it was crazy. But I got out and walked away from it. I survived that drive shaft coming up and tearing the floor all up. I said, that's it, man. I'm walking home.
Yeah, scary stuff.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
So, but it was crazy. Crazy stuff.
So as a side note, I just saw Dina Parisi is doing her own podcast now. She's doing I forget what the name of it was. It was like Chicks and Cars or something. She just started it this week. So
yeah, I saw
check that out.
Yeah. So
I think everybody's jumping on that bandwagon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Verizon just bought Blue Jeans beginning of the week.
Really?
Yeah. So,
When did you see that?
Well, my wife works for Verizon, and she told me.
Okay.
They just, you know, all those. Well, it's kind of funny how, you know, they all tapped into the TV world, you know, to have TV on the phone, you know, and take it in, and but she asked me, she goes, you know, when we're talking, because I guess on your radio, Ray, when we were on Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she saw that, and she said that's the reason why they bought Blue Jeans, and that's their main person they're going to go after is Zoom. Yeah,
Zoom is big now, man. Everybody's using it. But, you know, we were on Blue Jeans before Crowdcast. We had a lot of trouble with that platform.
Yeah. So, but I'm sure, well, with anything, I mean, Verizon, they're going to dump a lot of money into it. I mean, they're going to. Yeah,
if you get people who are committed to making it right and they put the right tech guys on it, it'll be aces. No problem.
Yeah. So, but that was she told me that, I guess maybe that was Friday. She told me, but they bought.
Is that public knowledge yet, or is that like undisclosed information that we?
I don't know.
shared?
She told me.
Yeah,
I
she
mean, I don't
told
know.
you, yeah, it's like client privilege, lawyer privilege.
Yeah, I leaked it. Well, she didn't say that, so I'm pretty sure.
It's okay. It's on Facebook now.
Yeah,
Hey, you know what else? That's shocking news. But other shocking news I saw today I saw it someplace, and Clay Kuhn did a video tonight of a Mac tool flyer, and it's like, man, Mac is back. Like, where the hell did they go? Like, where'd they come from? They're doing buy one, get ones and all sorts of deals. And like, who's got a Mac dealer? Nobody has a Mac dealer. I complain they can't get a Maco guy in the shop. I mean, I see a Mac truck around, but the guy's a ghost.
Yeah. No, they tried, when they were affiliated or bought into with Stanley, what they were trying to do was do like a Craftsman store.
Oh, okay.
And that's what they want. They want the name, Mac, a name like that, but they were trying, and of course they had problems, of course, with the distributors because, a guy there are distributors. Some areas it's kind of funny, like, in my area, it's just, it's Maco and Snap-on are the two biggest in my area, in my geographical area. If you go a little bit north from me, there's a lot of Mac. There's a few Mac people in Cornwell, and that's stuff that you just never see, And
I used to see Cornwell all the time in Long Island.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Not anymore.
So, but I mean, it kind of changes, but they kind of killed. I don't want to say killed it, but they made it. That was one of their main objectives. Was to have a Craftsman store, have a storefront, and sell
I like
tools.
when Craftsman had the storefronts. That was pretty cool. It was just the tools. You could right. I like that. That was because what you needed. You didn't want to see like pool toys and bed sheets. Bang! It was just tools.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like
you went in and did.
It's like when your Sears store, what door to go in that takes you right into the tool section.
Exactly.
Right.
No, I tell you, on the cover, the thing that they're pushing is this. It's a pneumatic impact gun, but it's a real stubby gun for tight places. And you buy that, and they're giving you a rail of really short, stubby impact sockets for free.
That we did that last month.
Yeah. So I guess that it looked like a Mac deal. I think it was like $349 is what the deal, what the price was.
That was we have a stubby. I don't have one here actually. I almost brought it in from the truck, but we have these super stubby 1/2-inch drive,
right?
Sockets, and it was the impact is 700 foot-pounds. I mean, it's a fucking beast.
Yeah. Okay.
That's crazy, man. Yeah. All that shit's crazy.
Yeah.
So
now, fine. Well, you watch Clay's stuff, right? Do you watch it? You'll see. He just posted it today. If you watch his
sometimes he tags me in, sometimes he doesn't, but I normally see it. I mean, I follow him and so.
Yeah, he just did it today. So, and he went through the catalog page by page, and basic stuff, the lights, and all the stuff that everybody has, pliers and hats and all sorts of shit.
I guess maybe a new Mac guy started going in there. Or did he go? I think he went someplace else because he was looking for a certain tool.
He actually said his wife was a town east of them, and saw the Mac guy, and I guess said something to him, and he's a new guy too. His name is Michael, another Michael, and he gave her the flyer. I guess she said, my husband's got a shop, and whatever. So he gave her the flyer. So who knows?
Yeah.
Who saw the 1,400 horse electric Cobra?
I heard something about that.
Yeah.
Who's
Ford put out a 17-second video today, a sizzle reel.
Okay. Cool.
Of this car at the track. 1,400 horse makes 1,100 pound-feet of torque instantly.
Right? That's the goal.
Yeah.
You think of the early days of drag racing when like the clutch was the hookup device for and then the tires were just like the second, hookup device. And now it's like instantaneous. There's no fooling around.
Yep. It's a bad looking car. It's got big tires on it too. Big Mickey Thompsons.
I'd imagine it would. Whoa.
Yeah.
Nice. Super Snake. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's nasty looking.
It's awesome.
Nice. See if Evan's going to drive one of those.
Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah.
He was on a kind of like a TV video show thing today with gosh, I forget the guy's name. The guy that roams around in the pits. He's always in the sportsman area.
Okay.
Like a little Italian guy from Jersey.
Uh-huh.
If you watch the NHRA stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's got a podcast, but it's live video like this. And he does like 3 segments. So Evan was on the first segment today.
Oh, good.
Talking about because Alan Reinhart,
Mm-hmm.
the other announcer.
Yeah, yeah.
He's got a really cool Mustang, and they were talking a couple days ago, and Reinhart mentioned that he wanted to make a run in that thing, faster than it's ever been, and he said there's probably one guy that could do it. And he goes, that would be Evan Smith.
Yeah.
And then so they wound up putting Evan on the show today.
I was going through YouTube yesterday and I found a video. It caught my eye because it was a 65 GTO. These guys, the guy from the GOAT lived in Canada and he drove like 2,400 miles. No, it had to be 1,200 miles to his friend's house in the Northeast. And then they drove 400 miles to the track. It was some event they were doing. You drive like town to town, track to track. And,
like Drag Week.
Yeah, kind of like Drag Week, but it wasn't Drag Week. It was something else. I don't know what it was. But this GOAT, the guy's got a Pontiac engine, like a 500-something cube Pontiac engine that he turbocharged.
Wow.
He's solid in the low 10s. Like he was just going to crack the 9s, but couldn't do it. And and it's a 6-speed car. That's the thing. These guys are stick shift drivers. And his buddy's got a Galaxy or Fairlane that's got a big Ford motor in it with a 6-speed, and he's in the 9s.
Wow.
So like they would, chasing each other, it's like, it was pretty cool, like seeing these full-bodied cars, full interior, and they're just like ripping it up, man.
Did you hear about those guys that reset the Cannonball Run record?
No.
It was three or four guys. Oh, gosh, I'm trying to think of what car they had. It's like a pseudo luxury sports sedan,
Bentley.
like a Lexus or something like that.
Right. Now would be the time to do it.
All decked out, with everything that they needed.
Right.
And I didn't know this, but it starts at this one particular like parking garage in New York.
Yes.
And then you go out to LA to another place, like a hotel or something.
Oh, I thought they used to like end it at a pier somewhere. One of the
it's a pier.
Whatever.
Yeah. So they figured since the country is shut down, and the police really aren't doing anything.
Yeah.
They quickly put this Cannonball Run car together, and they went out and did it.
Yeah.
They bolted like 3 extra fuel tanks into the car.
Wow.
Yeah. And they used like boat tanks.
Yeah.
And sophisticated, fuel tank switching system, and they had a laptop, and they had multiple GPS, and they were using Waze app and the whole deal, and they reset their record. But all the staunch cannonballers they're not giving them credit for it, because it really wasn't done during what they call normal time.
Yeah.
So they were allowed to really push the limits, and you get out in the Midwest when there's nobody around, or get to the desert. Once you get over the mountains, it's like hammered down, 160 miles an hour or something.
Sure.
So, but it was pretty cool story. I'm like, oh, good for them. At least they did it.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty awesome.
At least, yeah.
So it was a whole magazine, online magazine article written by the guy that actually holds the record.
Oh, okay.
Who set that record like years ago, and he doesn't do it anymore.
Right.
But he was like, yeah, hey, I give him props. He says, but I know that a lot of people aren't going to give it any credit.
Right. Hey, I saw something on a tool note. I saw something again on Haggerty's YouTube channel. There's this guy David. I forget his last name. He does a lot of the mechanical stuff for them. He's a nice guy, real regular. Now he's working out of his home garage, which is really freaking nice. It's a real shop. But he showed engine bolts, exhaust manifold bolts. He says, we always coat the exhaust manifolds with something and then they re-rust and the bolts always rust and the paint never stays. He says, I want to show you the way that I solved that. And he had a little can of stuff that was, what was it called? I think it was called like exhaust paint or something. I don't know. He brushes it. I feel, he sprayed it on. He blasts the bolts, cleans them, and then sprays it on. And he goes, I know what you're thinking. It's gold. There's a gold color. And he says, but don't worry. He says, that's going to change. He goes, as soon as these heat up, that gold changes to like a grayish color, which matches the manifolds, and then they'll stay like that. So what he did to show it was he used his inductor tool, put the inductor on it, and the camera showed the heat signature coming up the side, and it just like the gold just blushed and turned gray. I was like, yeah. He says, I know I'm going to get crap for this. People are going to say I'm overheating the bolt. I'm stressed. He goes, these bolts are no hotter than they are when they're in the engine. He goes, trust me, it's only a couple hundred degrees.
That's cool.
And I like that. I got to look into this stuff. And so, yeah, it's on Haggerty's channel. He just posted it, I think, yesterday on YouTube if you want to check him out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love seeing stuff like that. Those little tips and tricks that you would never know about.
Oh, yeah.
It's cool stuff.
Yep.
Oh, look at this.
What's that?
A friend of mine. This is what Terry was talking about, and a friend of mine did it.
Yeah.
They took their hot rods into
the city. You just knocked your video cable out. So, Brian, I'm sitting home. I'm really not eating a lot more, and I'm eating more fruit and I'm gaining weight. I swear to God, I'm eating less. I'm being conscious to eat less and eat like fruit and better stuff. And I'm gaining weight. I'm like, because I'm not moving around.
Not moving. Hey, I did it tonight at dinner. I did pork chops and mac and cheese and broccoli and carrots, for vegetables, and so I take my pork chop and I took an extra scoop of broccoli and the vegetables, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they said, you want the mac? I said, no mac and cheese. I said, man, I cannot get over how much weight I've gained.
John, you got to keep the video cable in place.
No, I don't get it. It's freaking weird. I just moved the camera and then completely disconnected me.
Sure
anyway.
Did. Oh, Radio City. Look at that.
They went into the city and there's nobody around.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's even a gate. That's St. Patrick's.
Yeah.
They didn't put fencing up. Oh, shit. Oh, look at that.
Look at this. They parked right in the middle of Times Square.
Diagonal, yeah. That's right by the police booth right there.
Yep. My uncle did that 2 weeks ago. He went with my aunt, 2:00 in the morning. He's like, let's go take a ride.
They didn't have to go at 2 in the morning, yeah.
They parked right in the middle of Times Square and walked around for about 15, 20 minutes. That's pretty wild. Yeah.
That's cool. Is that a
Firebird or
69 bird?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. Cool deal.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll never get to do that again.
No.
That's a pretty cool idea.
Yeah. Nice.
Good for them.
Yeah, I got one section in my route where it's literally 4 lanes on both sides with a middle turn lane. That's how wide the road is.
Yeah.
And normally when I get done with the 2 gas stations on one side, I have to go down and, go through a parking lot to get into a light, to make another turn, to cross the 4 lanes, to get to the other side of the road to do the other 2 gas stations.
Yeah.
Now I drive out of the gas station and drive right across all 4 lanes.
Wow.
There's no traffic. It's like unbelievable. I'm like, you could have never done that as long as I used to work at one of the gas stations that I go to down inside the Beltway.
Uh-huh.
Even 25 years ago, you couldn't even do that driving. You know what I'm saying? When it was
Right.
2 lanes on each side, and the traffic, now it's 4, it's crazy.
Wow.
Can't get over. But unfortunately, though, Monday, I had 2 of my customers pass.
Wow.
And one of them was a guy that I went to middle school with. That's how long I've known him, and he became a customer. And he had a heart attack, which was one thing. But I had another customer, a shop owner. He took his life.
Oh, really?
So,
Get out of here.
and he was wondering, huh?
Was he sick or?
No, he didn't know how he was going to pay the bills. He didn't know how he was going to keep the shop going. He didn't know how, and he had been struggling for the last couple. I mean, he had been struggling, but man, it's just really, and
This
my
kind
problem
of thing is going to affect a lot of people.
Yeah, well, my problem is, I mean, I've done this for 20 years, so. It's like one of the guys I went into, one of the shops I went into, he's taken over from his dad. When I first met him, he was 7 years old. He's 27 now.
Yeah.
And it's like, like I said, they're just more customers. I've known them for 20 years. So,
right. Friend.
Really. So.
That's terrible.
I just hope it doesn't stay this way or whatever.
It affects people, psychologically. But if you own a business and you're not doing it, it's not working. Bankruptcy, brother.
Yeah,
that's what it's there for. And then you just go figure something else out. You don't got to kill yourself over it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I know. Well, I mean, like I said, I don't know. Again, that's one of those things that you'll never understand why people what's going through somebody's head. I mean,
I know.
A couple of years ago, 2 years ago, I guess, I lost five of my customers with a needle in their arm.
Wow.
God.
Well, as another conscious choice that the person makes.
Yeah. That's pretty selfish.
They probably set out to do that.
And one of the guys, the thing that got me was that he had been fighting all his life, drug addiction, and he was clean for 2.5 years. And somebody from the past came back to see him.
Wow.
Remember when? Yeah.
Yeah. And, but, like I said, that's probably one of the hardest parts about this business was when.
Yeah.
So
that's horrible.
So, like I said, Monday this week hasn't been the greatest.
Right.
I tell you, man.
But you're eating more broccoli, so that's good.
Yeah, man. I've traded in the Hershey Kisses and told them we're eating just more fruits and vegetables.
So I just told Brian, I'm sitting around. I've been eating more consciously and more fruit and not a lot of food, not extra food, and I'm gaining weight. And it's like, damn it, because I'm like not moving around.
I'm lucky I'm maintaining.
Yeah.
I got some nice fresh watermelon I'm going to have as soon as we're done.
Okay, good, nice.
Yeah.
Watermelon's that one. I remember when I was a kid, I played around with. I've been a sugar addict all my life. That's my addiction.
Me too.
I've actually put sugar on watermelon, and ooh, is it good? I found if you put salt on watermelon, it tastes great too.
Yeah,
I heard that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I heard that.
The salt, the salt and sweet thing. It's like I saw like sweet and sour.
Like a tomato. Tomato, the same thing.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, so we have our tomato garden, and I have a little salt shaker, and me and Emma sit out there and salt them down and eat these tomatoes when we pull them off.
My wife loves making fun of me because I'm a pepper addict. I mean,
I love pepper.
Grinders, and I literally sit there and just grind it. And like she's like, okay, like we'll go out to the restaurant, and God forbid the kid comes over, like when you get the salad and like, would you like fresh pepper? I got the middle. Now it's like I just sit there. My wife says, you don't want to ask him that because he's not going to let you leave. He goes, oh no, that's no problem. I said, no, dude, really, like you want to leave it and come back and pick it up because you're not going to, I mean, I want it covered. I'm like, oh, really? I'm like, and then she'll say, no, man, he's not fooling you. Like he wants
yeah, black salt, like Papa Squirrel says, black salt.
Exactly. That's how I love pepper.
Take the
That's
salad.
what I do.
I take the salad and then I take the fork and I flip it and say, okay, keep sprinkling.
And the best part is like 2-3 hours later, like a little piece of peppercorn will dislodge from your tooth, and you'll take it, like, whoa, that's a good one.
Yeah, I do that all the time when I make a sandwich.
Yeah,
get some nice boar's head roast beef.
Yeah,
and cover every inch of that, then put the cheese on.
Yeah. Oh, cheese. We use mutts.
Today I made lunch because I had to do that 300-mile drive. So I had nice fresh rye bread, mayo, boar's head, roast beef, and provolone.
Okay.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that was a good Sammy.
Yeah,
big too. I took the rye bread from the middle of the loaf, so each one was like that big.
Right. That's what I did. I made rye bread this morning, but I had to like cut the end off so it would fit in the toaster because I was in like the big loaf.
Yeah. The pieces were so large that when I laid out the roast beef, it didn't hang off the edge.
Oh,
I took the big center pieces.
That's nice.
I noticed somebody in the house has taken, when they're making their sandwiches, they're taking it from the center of the loaf, just like that. And I was going to make sandwiches for tomorrow because tomorrow I've got to kind of run a couple of days, or combine some stuff, and it's like you can't even find two that matches up anymore, because they've taken like the center section. I'm gonna have to put the camera.
Yeah. George Carlin did a bit on that years ago. He was like, and who is it who takes the bread from the center of the loaf? He goes, they go in there, they take the middle pieces, damn it. He goes, and then nothing matches up.
Yeah. I noticed today, I grabbed the loaf and I said, this doesn't look right, and pulled out, and I'm like, man, none of that. You can't even line them up.
Living with girls, I throw myself on the sword a lot of times. Like when it's getting low, I'll take the heel. Like I don't give a shit. I don't really care. I'll take a little bit of something. Like I'll make grilled cheese out of it. I don't care. Because no one will touch that. I'm like, give me it. Give me the end of that Italian bread. So if I'll just rip it right off when I'm on the way home. It's like just give me that end of the Italian bread.
No, that's the same. Like I said, with the house full of girls, the women. Like I said, I make sure they're all, they get what they want, but it's like, my God, I can't even make like, a sandwich. It's like I got to take and cut like two of them to, piece it all together or something.
No one's thinking the old man. You got to keep like some Italian rolls, some Italian bread, like stuffed in a drawer somewhere. Like pull out your own hoagie roll.
Well, that's like you said down here in the office. I've got my own refrigerator and microwave. I got to keep my own stash.
Nice.
Got
nice.
it.
Oh well,
that's good.
So it's been crazy, but. So how much more you got to do on the car, Ray? Is it almost
the Chevelle?
No, your GTO.
Oh, I'm not working on my car. The other guys are working on my car.
Where are they? I mean, these are professional. Is it almost done? I mean, are we?
Well, last week a guy came in. This guy Roberto came in and put the headliner in. He's a real craftsman, man. This guy builds custom limos and stuff. And now this guy Aju, which I thought was like sauce or gravy, like this guy Aju, he's like Indian. He's doing the body work, and my buddy Mike said, he's the best plastic guy he's seen in years. So I was there. Was it Monday or I know I was there Saturday. I don't know if I was there. I think I was there. I don't think I've been there since Saturday. So I don't know what he did this week. I should go there tomorrow and check it out because I got to work on the Chevelle. I just hate working in that shop. That's what it is. I just don't like being in the shop, the body shop. It's just the dusty shit. And I don't have a I'm laying stuff on top of garbage pails and like I'm haphazardly laying out tools. You know, I don't have a space. I don't have my own area, so
That's
Yeah.
horrible.
I don't like working like that. I mean, I don't need much. I'm doing electrical, so now I loaded the power probe up in the car. That and I got a home one of those. No, I tell you, man, the Harbor Freight bags that they sell. I forget it's like a black bag with handles.
Yeah.
I forget what the name is. They are fantastic, man. Yeah, I just load that up with all my my cutters, my pliers, my electrical stuff, and my soldering iron, and off I go. So
Gotta have it.
yeah. Well, that's it. That's the problem when you're working mobile like that. You never know what it is you don't need because
True.
you'll find out what you need it, and you're like, "Damn, I should have brought that."
Right.
Like I was at the shop yesterday. They wanted me to look at a Toyota. Had a weird running thing. It ends up we wanted to check back pressure. My friend's son was asking me. I said, "I have a back pressure gauge." I said, "But you know where it is?" He goes, "At home in one of your toolboxes." I'm like, "Exactly." I said, "Because I never needed it here, so I'll bring it next time I come down."
Yeah.
I've got 2 Cobalt toolboxes in my truck. Over the years, I've determined what kinds of tools I need in order to, if I got an emergency thing that I got to work on a tank.
Right.
And I got them both loaded, and I got all kinds of extra spare parts, and it's like a pain in the neck, but it's there. Like tonight, I was able to, change gears and do what I got to do.
Yeah, you have to have the unexpected when you're doing service.
Yeah.
And you got to have the stuff to jury rig it if you don't have the right stuff,
Yeah. Well, the vans are all loaded with boxes and the whole deal, so they can get stuff accomplished. But me, I don't drive a van.
That's how I learned how to really sweat pipe correctly. My first house had a 4-foot bathtub in it with the external shower head and plumbing. It was like, they kept it in the house. I mean, the house was built in like 1913, but
did it have one of those toilets with the tank up by the ceiling?
No, not with the gun behind it, right? With the taped up handle. You go in and you go to the toilet. The thing where you pull the chain and go to the back. There'll be a gun there. It'll be taped up. Don't worry. It's the Godfather. What can I say? But no, there was a leak or something. I had to fix it, and I go to the floor and like there's no valves. Like whoever plumbed this didn't put valves. Like,
oh my God,
who the hell puts in plumbing without valves? So I had to go down to the basement, shut off the water, and then cut the pipes and learn how to sweat pipe that was vertical, not horizontal. So but I put in cutoff valve. So it's like
good to know.
Yeah. Funny stuff.
So I was looking at news feeds. Disney says they're not going to open up till 2021.
Wow.
Gee whiz.
Well, think how tight people are crammed in there,
Yeah, they're afraid. They want everything to be pretty much zero before they open up.
Man, what would Studio 54 have done?
Unbelievable.
You got a disease just walking around, let alone.
That's funny. And then saw another thing. Elizabeth Warren's brother died.
Oh, yeah?
From the coronavirus.
Oh.
The first guy to leave a comment says, really sucks when the wrong relative dies. And then some guy named Peter goes, what the WTF does that mean?
Right.
The guy goes, if you can't figure it out, you should have been her.
Yeah.
Obvious, yeah.
For real. That's great. Somebody turned a Learjet into a street legal 42-foot limousine.
Why not?
Dude, it looks real cool.
Why not? I mean, hey.
Unbelievable. Look at this thing.
Here's the tail. Oh, wow. That's wild.
Yeah.
See that going down the road.
Yeah,
right? Think about it. That's pretty cool. What a good idea.
Yeah, if that's when you have a spare Learjet laying around, you have nothing to do with, it's like,
right?
Get the car out of it.
It's got no wings. Where the wings come out, they put the rear wheels.
Right. That's funny.
That's great. Good for them. 8 feet wide, 42 feet long, 8 feet. So it's as wide as the lane.
Well, the lane's about 10 feet, I think.
Yeah.
So
I don't think you can go bigger than 8 foot.
Right.
No,
right.
you can go up to 102.
Okay.
Yeah, the biggest trailer or like a tractor trailer box, they're 102.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember how wide you can go because we have our wide body tool trucks, and you got to watch it because if you hang anything on the side like lights or whatever, then you're over the DOT number.
So I saw a little while ago, Matco man Michael got himself a new. He got rid of his
Zuzu
and bought a new big diesel truck, new tool truck. That had to set him back.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I asked him, like, why'd you do that now? And then he stocked it. He says, he goes, this was already in the works a while ago. He goes, it was, what am I going to do? It's like, he's right. You don't do that in an instant. That takes time. So, but it looks good.
Especially going through the channels with Matco.
Yeah.
That is the longest. When I went to go get my new truck, okay, when they told me I had a Zuzu before, box truck, 18-footer, and they said, technically the very first time when I was supposed to get a truck, my wife was laid off, and I just told them, I said, I can't buy a new truck. My wife has been laid off. I can't do this. I mean, there's just no way physically.
Yeah.
And of course, they got put on the back burner, and I've kept my truck for for 16 years or 17 years. Technically, I should have been on my third truck.
Yeah.
So when it came time, they said you're getting a new truck. And I said okay, and I had the options to buy one, to take one from a guy going out, take over the lease, So I find a truck, do it. And they turned around and said, well, you can't do that. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. You told me I needed a truck. Here's a truck. And they're like, oh, well, you've been around long enough. You need a 24-footer. And I said, no. I said, I'm in the city. I'm an alley cat. I'm driving. I said, my Snap-on guy, one of them had only a 20-footer. Yeah. But he had a cab over, he had that 4 feet sticking out. Not a cab over, but he had a nose, he had a Freightliner. So he had the nose sticking out. He couldn't even get around half the places down in the city.
Oh, yeah, I get places they can't. Yeah.
Yeah. And I told him, I said, if I can get a smaller truck, I'd get a 16-footer. I wouldn't even want an 18-footer, And, of course, I couldn't. We were not allowed to have the M55s. That's what I really wanted. That's like a bread truck, That's typical true school, old school, tool truck.
So look, if it was up to me, I'd take a Volkswagen Rabbit with a travel trailer.
Damn right, And
yeah, but you want to look big time.
Yeah.
Nah, well, that's what they want. But man, so I hope Michael can handle that. He must have.
Yeah.
Because it's hard, especially when you're new like that. Because if your note's not paid off, or there's stipulations to getting that. That takes a lot to get going.
And like I said, he stocked it like fully. The ceiling is even stocked. Like, wow, man, that's a lot of product. Clay's been showing he has a 36-inch Matco flex head ratchet.
I think 30 inch.
Damn, yeah, that thing is big.
That's big.
Holy
shit. I just put a new head on one. I just took it out to the truck before I came on.
Wow.
That thing is huge.
That's big, yeah.
Yeah.
That's big.
That's you're pulling a car off the lift. You got to be careful.
Yeah.
That's like when they came out with the 56-inch pry bar.
Oh yeah.
It's like, taller than some of my guys, and they're grabbing a hold of those things.
I said because working on the Mercedes and the Audis with the lug nuts on off, I bought I guess it's like a 36-inch half-inch drive breaker bar. Mm-hmm. It's a big one. I just had it sticking on the side of the toolbox. That thing is a monster, but I've actually seen it flexing when I'm trying to take Mercedes, the SUV lug nuts off that won't come off. This fucking bar is bending. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, that stuff is some of that stuff. And I tell guys, man, when they get that 56-inch pry bar, I said, you need to wrap a chain around the rear axle and the leg. Put it on the leg on the lift.
Yeah.
And tie that thing down, because you start pulling, man, you're going to pull that car off the lift. Man, that's a lot of leverage. Yeah. Have to spot weld it to the floorboard to the lift.
That's funny.
Because that's a lot of leverage. You don't realize.
Yeah.
Luckily, some of the guys I'm selling to are only 5'1" and 87 pounds. So
See.
Little guys. So yeah. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh man. Nutty
Yeah.
stuff.
So hopefully, I don't know. I think they're supposed to. We got one more week, and they're going to try to open Maryland back up or something like that.
They're doing stuff slow here.
Yeah. They're fighting out up here. Everybody's fighting.
I noticed the traffic was heavier today.
Yeah.
First time it's been heavy like that in about 5 weeks.
Okay.
Still zooming along, go at 82 to 85.
Yeah.
But the cops are finally coming out and writing tickets.
Oh yeah, we had a beer truck fall over on my route yesterday.
Oh
God.
A Tuesday, I'm sorry, and closed the whole intersection down, and all the day workers from the Home Depot ran across the street and was picking beer up. Ripped the roof right off the truck, man. It was a mess, man.
Wow.
That's terrible.
So, I couldn't even imagine trying to clean all that stuff up. But it happened right in front of one of my gas stations, and they said, yeah, they just 1 minute they take a look and they see the truck and look back, and the truck is rolling around on the ground, and beer just all over the place. So I don't know what the guy was doing.
Play that one to your boss.
Yeah,
really, that's terrible.
So
and then that smell of stale beer later on.
Right.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, it was funny. I was telling you the girls were doing tie dye, or they were going to do the tie dye shirts. Yeah. And so we got everything all set up and got everything, and it's rained. It's rained the last 3 days, so they haven't been able to do that yet or get to it. We've had rain, so.
Hey, I saw something cool on the Matco Twitter feed. These flex head ratcheting wrenches with handles, it's like a ratchet handle.
Oh yeah.
Now they look pretty cool. I mean, I just bought the freaking Snap-on, the Blue Point ones. Actually, they're actually more multi-purpose. You can put an extension in horizontal or in the end. But I saw those. I'm like, hey, they look pretty cool. That look real nice.
The flex handle ones, right? The black handle.
It's a flex head. The handle was. I
don't know what I did with mine. I have a set. They're really nice.
It's SRFM 52PA.
You're not talking about these, right?
Why can't my camera never shows up on this? That's what it looks like. It's a black handle with the orange band. Yes.
Yeah. This is these are nice because this is a 7mm, and the length. The body guys love these.
Yeah.
For the length.
That's nice.
Very sleek.
I saved a screenshot of that because it was definitely on my list. I like that.
These are really especially the only problem, not really the only problem, the only thing that these are not proportional to size. Right. So when you get to the 14 or 15 on this, it's literally a little bit actually smaller than this.
Oh, really?
So that's why the 8, my 8s and 10s are the biggest sell for doing door adjustments and hood adjustments.
Right.
On body guys, they like that because it's long and sleek to get in, but these are really nice.
Yeah. Very cool.
Those are really good. Yeah, they came out a couple years ago, And that's one thing I noticed that they're, I don't want to say rehashing, but they're bringing stuff back. I think a lot of people forgot or just don't see, you know.
That's a good idea.
You know, you kind of, because somebody will say, I'm looking for that new, like you said, that new thing. And I said, man, dude, that's been out for like 5 years. You know what I'm saying? But
no, I mean, hey, listen, you can't keep up with everything, you know, even if you're on a truck all the time. And it's good, you know, you bring it back and you get a new audience. Why not? I mean,
yeah. And I think a lot of times, like you said, it's just, you know, it's not in their rotation on their flyers.
Right.
And that's the only thing I've explained to them. You can't, you know, they run the buy one, get one free, like on the die grinders or the wrenches. So they'll do that 3 times or 4 times in a year. Mm-hmm. Every quarter they do something like that in the flyer.
Right.
And it's like, man, you just beat this to death. There's, like you said, this having one of those or having something else, you know, but they, I guess they buy for the manufacturer to stock up for their flyers.
Yeah, I guess.
Supposedly they tell us our flyers are done several months in advance, but I don't know if that's actually true.
Well, you know, I think I think so. You know, for the idea to get the concept down, to make sure that the product is available, and then to do the layout and the printing. Yeah, there's got to be lead time.
Yeah, well, you said the main word about product being available.
right. Because hey, listen, if I see it in a flyer, I expect everything in that flyer is going to be like there. I mean, why give me a flyer if you don't have the stuff? Like that's stupid. You know,
exactly.
You know, I mean, if you're putting stuff out for sale, have it available. That's
one of the biggest complaints or argument that we have.
And it's valid, it's totally valid.
And it's tough because, like you said, when they come out with something like that, and then, you know, of course, it's always, well, we didn't think, you know, our forecasters didn't think it'd be this big of a deal or this popular or whatever.
So then why put it out? I mean, if you know, it's just common sense. If you're putting it out as a sale or as an incentive, you got to have it, because then people, it's like the boy who cried wolf. It's like, what the hell, man?
Yeah. So we had, like I said, we get bit. That's why a lot of times, hopefully, I usually, like, I'll take my flyers and I give them out a week early.
Yeah, give people a chance to look through them. Yeah,
I give them to a week early and say,
take them in the bath.
If I have it on the truck, I go ahead and give them the sell price. You know what I'm saying? Because I can replace it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not worried. But at least when somebody's going through and say, "Oh, that's neat," and I'll say, "Well, what's neat?" and they'll tell me what's neat. At least I have an idea that if it piqued one person, you know, out of the other, it might actually. Not saying that he's going to buy it, but then that's when I make my orders for next week, the week of it, and then I hopefully have it on the truck. Try to get a jump before the other 1,800 guys. Right. So I don't know.
Yeah, we got like three.
Yeah, we're down
2 minutes. Yeah, we got chopped last week. That was for sure.
Yeah.
I think you were in mid sentence again.
Whoa. Yeah, it's like, damn it, I got. And the problem is, I have to finish the thought, or I'm up all night. I mean, that's why I finished the text to you and say blah blah blah, because if I don't, man, that's it.
Yeah.
For me to go to sleep, I had to roll up, and 3 a.m. you'll get the text from me like, what the fuck is he texting me at 3 a.m? I can finish the statement, you know.
Send them all night. I shut my phone off at night. I'll see it in the morning. It's not going to wake me up.
That's it. I put it on silent. Done.
I shut the phone off. Well, yeah.
So, but that's funny.
Yeah.
Oh well, go out and get ready for tomorrow. I got to try to run a couple days. I'm going to try to combine 2 days.
All right.
For Friday.
It's going to rain like crazy here tomorrow, they said.
Too. Yeah, they're saying it was supposed to start tonight at 10 and go overnight. I got to put the garbage out. We'll see now what it looks like. I don't know. I don't hear
it. It rained all day here. It was terrible.
It didn't rain. We had sun today, but they say it's coming up to Tennessee Valley. It's coming up, the one we're getting at least.
It was 93 here today.
Oh, wow. Jeez, yeah,
really?
2. Yeah, it's fucking cold, man. It's
bright sun, 93. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still having freeze warnings.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, I'm like,
Yeah.
You got to be kidding me, man.
I
I don't know. So, but you guys take care before we get cut off. Good talking to you.
We're
And
all right.
What you got going on for the radio?
Tom Cotter is on Sunday. The
cool.
The author, Barn Find Hunter. He does a show on Haggerty YouTube channel, Barn Find Hunter. Yeah, he's an old friend of ours, so we got him coming on. And Alana Scher is the following Sunday. She's going to be cool too. That'll be good. So
good.
That's it. We're out.